Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. I want to start as usual to make sure that you hear me and that you see me. So I'm going to look at the messages and see what you say. Can you also tell me if the volume is the right level, or is it too loud or not loud enough, please? I want to welcome everybody. We've got Donald and Richard and Apple and Drew, Stefan and Juliet, Myra. Yes and yes. Okay, Myra says it's perfect. Good. Okay. Hi, Carmen. And Richard says he can hear and see me and all is perfect. Yay! Maybe I'm getting this together. But I'm always going to check. Loud and clear. Thanks, Stefan. Thanks, Juliet. Good. Hi, Paul. And Verpy, hi there. I am very well, thank you. And Julie in Michigan. There you go. An international group of people. Donald's in Florida. Verpy's in Norway, is it? I hope I didn't get that wrong. Anyway, I want to start with everybody getting in their stillness. So, why don't we sit quietly and close your eyes. Get into a meditative posture with your hands in your lap if you prefer that. So let's be alert and awake, eyes closed. Let all the sounds that are around you or your thoughts just to be there. Don't pay attention, let them pass through. Pay attention to your breath as it goes in and out, in and out. Then visualize the eternal star, the diamond light within your heart center. And allow the light to radiate throughout your body, relaxing, supporting, bringing peace. Continue to radiate it into the room where you are sitting, into your home, filling it with peaceful light, diamond light, the star of eternity light. Allow your breath to carry the light now expand it out to your village, to your country, filling it with love and light of the eternal star from your heart. Allow the breath to flow and send the light within the village, within the country. Now expand it to surround the earth, bringing love and light of the eternal star to Mother Earth, to humanity, to the animal and plant kingdom. Allow the breath to surround and radiate the whole of existence. The universe, the planets. Slowly bring back the love and the light you have gathered and given and received back to your country, to your village, to your home. And then slowly come back to your body and back to the diamond eternal star in your heart. Place your hands over your heart. And say, I am love, I am light, I am truth of my soul. When you're ready, open your eyes and be one with our stream tonight. Hi Phil and Becky, Francine and Yvonne. Thank you for joining us. What I would like to focus on tonight is intuition and what role it plays in creativity. We have for the last few lives been talking about angels and how to communicate with them. And that's just one doorway. There are many, many doorways. And each person has a specific one they can focus to, or maybe a couple. And one thing I think you might not realize, more than a few years ago, when I was working in mental color therapy with Lily Cornford in London, we created several special, not lectures, but how can I explain it? Well, the one that I'm going to talk about tonight are the spiritual senses. Because to most of us, we think that the five senses we use them to gather information on the physical plane. But they actually perform a greater service to us if we become aware of that. And this paper that we created is very informative, but I am just going to give you a short introduction. So, we are processing a lot of information all the time, but we cannot digest it, not to the amount that's coming in. It would overwhelm us. So there are filters, and that's what the senses are, and they work through the organs, the ears, the eyes, the mouth, ears, eyes, mouth, taste, and your nose. And most people are just working on the physical level with them. And you don't realize that those doorways that we've been talking about, and you doing the breath exercises or the color exercises, or you meditate, it's actually going through the senses. And you can encourage that. You can train yourself to open the doorway, whatever way suits you. And what you might not have realized, there is a sixth sense, and that's your higher mind. And together with your aura, which we call in the healing world your etheric, the mind and the etheric work together into your senses, which again is not an organ, but actually a quality of beingness. And if you are in balance with your inner world and your outer world, then this will be going on by the nature of being human. Most of us are totally identified just on the physical plane, and humanity suffering right now because of that. And I'm here to encourage you to be courageous and find the balance between your inner world and your outer world. For me, creativity is my way, and also in the art of living. So I touch that space that way, but it's with an intention. The art of living for me has an intention to radiate the eternal star, to radiate goodness, to radiate love, to radiate inspiration, upliftment, all those things. And my senses work together with it. And there's actually a process with the senses. Let me just look at my list. So the first one, which is hearing, there's usually about 5 levels of, what do we call it? As you get finer and finer and more in touch with your inner world into the physical world, there are 5 refinement levels, but I'm only going to talk about 2 or 3 for each one. So for hearing, of course, there's the physical hearing of the normal reality that we all consider as normal. And then the next step, probably the first one after physical, when you start to open up and want to touch that higher level of creativity. And hearing is your path. There's clairaudience. And people that are musicians and speakers probably mainly work through that. Then the second one is touch and feeling. And of course there's the physical touch, but also that's where healing begins to come alive in your beingness. And some people work through their hands. Some people work through their thoughts. So the third one is sight. So we have your physical sight of what you see, but there's also clairvoyance, to where you see an inner aspect of who you are. The fourth is taste. And wait for this one. It always makes me just wonder. So you have your physical taste that tells you whether the food is great or not. And then your imagination and your intuition works through taste. Takes you deeper. Well, all I can say is that tastes really good. And then the fifth one is smell. And that quality works on the physical plane. And then, as you refine, it will go into emotional idealism and spiritual discernment. Then, of course, many people work through several of these senses together to reflect their soul quality. So that's a bit of a mouthful. I'm going to check the messages. And hi Gerhard, welcome. Becky has asked, Ginger, are the faces on the pic behind you raised? I thought about doing the same sort of pic recently using the white face mouse you can purchase on Kids Crafting. Do you refer to this one? Because they are raised, and I built them up initially from scratch with little dots of clay, which is my way of allowing the creative world to come in. Bit of touch there, I have to say. I haven't eaten any clay lately, but I'm being very silly tonight. Becky, all I can say is find your way. Set an intention for what you want to allow to happen when you're working with the mass. And go with the flow of it. And I look forward to seeing the result. So Juliet, I love the thought of us all radiating the love around the world. Stefan, I don't think you're mistaken. The birds are tweeting and I have a dog that's barking in the background. You can hear it too. Well, we're all one, you know. Everything's one. And they just want to join in, probably. Stefan Los Ales. Drew says, chemo destroyed my taste. No wonder I struggle with creativity. Well, Drew, I think you have to start going through all your other sites. Do you know that the yogis, once you develop more of a meditative spiritual path, the yogis go beyond the senses. You don't really need them to contact that space. So I would advise when you're meditating or you're about to be creative, go beyond it. Go to the source. And don't stop yourself on the physical plane with that thought. That's my thought. And I know you can do it. It's the heart. Go through the eternal star. You know, don't program yourself to limitation. And that's what most of us do anyway. Because we don't realize the universality of what we are. So, Juliet, so taste could be one's taste in music and art and friends and people and who or what we are drawn to. I totally agree with that. Great angle. Richard says he can't taste or smell at the moment due to positive COVID. Well, maybe it's an opportunity to develop your other senses, particularly your sixth sense, into the art of living. Hi, Amy. So Becky's saying, now I'm wondering whether to try doing them with paper mache. I worked with paper mache. That's really great fun because you can build it up and you can build it down. Whereas the other forms that you were thinking about, the mass, might limit you into one way of flowing, but try them both. See what their limitations are, see what the doorway is to open to your creativity. Verbi, I don't have a dog, but there is a neighbor dog. And there's a park on one side of me that kids go for walks with their parents, and the dogs do as well. And that is nice to hear them. He's barking again. But I cannot have an animal here without permission of the landlord because I'm renting. And actually, though I love animals, as you know, particularly cats, and I probably wouldn't mind having a dog snuggling with me on the couch, but I think my future will be traveling around the world, or at least within England, talking to people about these subjects, these matters. And I don't want an animal to miss me. Let's see some more messages. Stefan has a fox and a cat sitting side by side in his garden. Why can't we all be like that? Well, that's a good question and something to constantly radiate. I had one of my gardens, I used to have a fox coming in at night. And there were pheasants that would show up, and there were rabbits and birds. Amazing bird choir. And so I talked to them and I said, listen, you're all welcome to be here, but you have to be friends. And on many occasions, I saw the fox sitting with some of the other angels, and I didn't find any dead rabbits anywhere, even from my cats. So, what else have you got to say? Good morning, Michael Benner from Southern California. Glad you're here. So, what I want to talk about some more before I do that, Drew says her cat's name is Gilmour. Well, the Gilmours were originally carers of the forest, so that's probably a good name. Lily says, you still need the email on my Finding My Chakras. I'm halfway there. Unfortunately, we are dealing with COVID scare at this time. Oh dear. So my beautiful friend, please forgive me at this time, sending you lots of love and light, and thank you. No problem, Lily. So long as you're on the stream, we're here together. No rush. I'm just interested in everyone's process. Hi, Garnet. Thank you for coming. Okay. Has anyone heard the word noetic? Does anyone know what noetic means? It's a foreign word to me a lot of the times. But I looked it up, and noetic means to unlock the relationship between mind, body, and consciousness and matter. And apparently everyone has a noetic signature, which basically means that, say you're a natural intuitive, and your family, your mother, your grandmother, your father, your family were very inclined to be intuitive or clairvoyant or clairaudient, or have a way to contact the invisible aspect of the beauty of life and bring it in onto the earth, into your home and the relationships. So it's a really interesting part. There is an institute in California called the Noetic Institute, or actually it's the Institute of Noetic Science, and they're just put out a book called Science and Channeling. And science and channeling they use as a broad spectrum to describe all the aspects of the different ways into the invisible world of who you are. So there's mysticism and psychism and telepathy and, as I said, clairvoyance and creativity and music and all kinds of wonderful things that we have as our potential, which most of us maybe don't even know it exists. So as I said last week and the week before, the more that you practice contacting the invisible aspect of you are, the more that ability will develop. And humanity needs it. We need to have an improved state of beingness. And it's through that, because if we're honest, we're really closed off. And it's so within us. Everyone has a noetic signature, a quality. And if you haven't inherited this genetically, we have it in our beingness. And you just have to open the doorway. And noetic is Noetic. Now, I know that the Institute of Noetic Science is just about to open up a website devoted to helping you discover your noetic signature. And as I said, you all have it. And it's just the ability to contact your inner knowledge is what it's about. And a lot of time have you heard the saying, as above, so below? Well, that's what it's all about. The noetic code is all about as above, so below. And that's what your senses are all about. Hope they don't just bring in information to you on the physical plane. They actually are a bridge that you can use, and if you understand that they're in the process of working with you, it knowledge deepens out these matters. So I have another visualization meditation journey that we can go on that will help you to learn to contact and use and communicate with that aspect of beauty within you and bring it into your world. But I am going to look at a few of these messages first. Yvonne's saying, it took her a long time to accept that there are perceptions that cannot be logically explained. Anticipating an event or feeling the presence of someone before I meet him or her, I know now that this is the sixth sense that then works. We all have it. But not everyone has trained this sense. Totally. And the thing about it is that when we go through this next visualization, we're going to be setting an intention, not right at the beginning, but further on in it, to where you might get an indication of an answer. And some people get it with a yes or a no, or they use a pendulum or something like that, where they ask a question once they've contacted that place. Some people are always trying to have an answer, and it's not an answer that you can prove where it comes from or anything like that, particularly in the world that we've created. So what you do is you just ask, is this useful on my path? this information and see if a yes or a no comes. Sometimes it can be a contraction of your body that makes you feel it's a yes or a no. Anyway, let's continue and see where we go. I'm going to just change the image a little bit. Hang on. Okay, we're going to use the quality of yellow light in this particular visualization. So I just want to have you focus on that color for a bit. See if you can go into it and smell the fragrance. See the depth of the color. There are exercises where you could develop more of each sense that I could type out and put online for you if you're interested. As you can see, there are different colors of yellow light. Daffodil's a good one though. That's full of life energy. So I am going to put up that and talk you through this visualization. Okay, again, let's close our eyes and be in a meditative posture. Hands in your lap if that's the comfortable way of doing it for you. And pay attention to your breath, going in and going out, going in and going out. Allow all the sounds and thoughts to just be there as part of the breath. Now I'd like you to imagine a golden light above your head. Then move it slowly down your body, clearing and relaxing. Touch your head with the light of yellow, of gold. Your face, your neck, your shoulders, your heart, your torso, your hips, your thighs, your knees, your calves, your feet, and your toes. Allow the light to flow out of your toes into Mother Earth. Let it clear and relax your being. And slowly take Mother Earth's love back up through your feet, your ankles, your thighs, your knees, your hips, your stomach, your torso, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, your neck, your face, and your top of your head. This time, I'd like you to repeat the same process, but do it a wee bit quicker. So we have a golden light coming from above into your head, going down into your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your stomach, your hips, your thighs, your knees, your calves, your ankles, your feet, your toes, and back to Mother Earth. Clearing, relaxing. Mother Earth is sending back the energy of nurturing, of love, of balance, up through your feet, your calves, your knees, your hips, your stomach, your back, your chest, your shoulders, your arms and hands, your neck, your face, your head, back to heaven. Send the energy. Now, in this present moment of focused stillness, I would like you to invite an intention, saying, I allow myself to receive the higher message of who I am. I believe I can. You can create your own set intention of what you want to allow to receive. You can say this silently or say it aloud. Within that quietness, wait and listen. Be open to receive an answer. It can be auditory. It can be a contraction of muscles in your body. It can be a knowing. And perhaps there isn't an answer this time. Just compassion and peace and love. Allow the stillness to be there for a moment. At this point, we want to close the session with saying thank you, showing gratitude. Wiggle your toes, your fingers, do a bit of moving. Open your eyes and be aware of the room that you're in, and come back to the stream that we're all part of. I always feel so calm after these things. So as I said, there are so many different ways of contacting that place of stillness and knowing. And the method, many methods. Nothing's wrong. Some people worry that if can people misuse that power, because when you start to open up, you can see people's thoughts and direct And it is so important that your intention of why you're using that power is very clear. And we're talking about the filter that your senses also provide from all the thousands of messages that are coming in, information that comes into our brain every second. That some people, their etheric web is burned or damaged in some way. And they might be overwhelmed with even the goodness, the beauty of life. It can just be too much. You need to make sure that you have some time out, just ordinary living. And to be able to be the conductor of these things. There are a lot of very deep practices that you can develop, and I would say caution. We have treated a lot of people in our center for doing spiritual practices that have opened up their nervous system to such a degree that they're on fire. We had one man that was had to walk in the night on the dew, even the snow, to cool down his body. It's not something to play with, but if you're a beginner, take it easy and just feel the joy and the love that it brings to you, the satisfaction of and the balance. And then what's really important is to not take it too seriously and be silly from time to time. I want to see what you're all saying. Hang on a minute. Elizabeth Rooney says that she does meditation for pain in her back and it works. It takes the edge off. Yeah, there's a lot of healing that we have as a power within us. And I truly believe it's true what you're saying. So, most people are saying that was very peaceful. I'm very happy. Francine says it usually comes, my visions, when I'm sleeping, then I'm relaxed. I get some pretty dynamic dreams, I have to say. And I write them down because I did years with Gerhard Adler and Werner Engel in Jungian analysis. And so we had to keep a dream book. And then when I went with Lily, it changed to where I wanted to empower the higher chakras instead of just going through the solar plexus. So Juliet, laughter and being silly is such a positive thing. I find laughter almost therapeutic. It's so uplifting. And it's all those endorphins. It's just, the body is made to keep us happy and balanced. Francine keeps paper and pencil by her bed. I did that for a long time, and now I wait till the morning. But it's really important to do things like that because you're just building up your mind, your ego to focus and identify more with the invisible aspect of what we are. So as we've done before, we can either do it now or you do it at the end of the session, is to seal off all the centers of your body so that after the stream you are whole within yourself. And what would you like to do? Would you like to do that now or do it after the session? Nice, Francine. She writes her whole life in poems. Verpi, you love poems as well, don't you? I'd like to see some of them one day. So you might want to, I know Amazon sells the book Science and Channeling. I was just looking it up before the session because I want to get it. There's a lot of information in there if you're interested. Juliet says her dreams have been strange recently for a while about people who are no longer in my life. Then one dream of a person who I'd like to be in my life. You know, dreams have 4 different levels. The first one is your psychological desires. The second one is the higher aspect of what your psychology, your daily life is told or hinted. The third one is hints, dreams for the collective, for humanity on the physical plane, but maybe from a spiritual point of view. And then the fourth is when a master or higher information comes to you and gives you lots of hints. So, Krishnamurti is very good, yes. Well, I think Verpi and Francine, that must be one of your expressions for your soul to come through, and also to work through what you need to do or release. It's very cathartic, if that's the way to pronounce it. I find writing in my diary very helpful in bringing forth clearer thinking. I usually do that after I meditate. Some wisdom comes through, some working through comes through. And when I'm having my moments of and I do, usually it means that I'm working through something, and a very positive way comes, and writing to the universal psychologist that's inside my book helps me. Richard says, apparently any people you see in your dreams are people you've met or seen in reality, as our brains are unable to make up faces in our sleep. Could just be someone that you saw very briefly out shopping, etc. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to know that person, but there might be a hint in there of what is happening within the dream for you to look at, or to transform, or to let go. There's I do like the ones when there's a love involved. Hi Isabel, it's okay, have a listen to the replay. Anyway, Francine sees people she doesn't know, but what's the point in there? You know, Garnet says one thought is to find your hands in your dreams, and then you will be able to do many things. Yes, Verpy says, I used to keep a paper diary for decades and then I kept journals online. Now I'm thinking that I should go back to paper. I don't have those online journals. Don't feel that I could write about everything openly. Drew wants to know, are daydreams real? Ask your daydream. What is it that this message will further my spiritual path in the daytime? Juliet thinks that some of her dreams were about letting go. I must say that I had a dream with Mrs. Tweedy, my Sufi teacher, before she passed over. And I knew of all the 4 stages of dreams, but I had never had her or another master come to me until that one time. We were in Hawaii, and it was incredible. It went on and on and on and on. So much information, which she ended it and said, okay, I've told you everything. You don't need to come back and see me anymore. Just live it. I went, holy moly. It was so intense. And the thing is, I couldn't remember. I could not remember everything she had told me. So it's up there. It's up there. So I waited 6 months after we got back to England before I went to see her, to see if I was hallucinating, if it was really true, if it was a message that was something I had to listen to or ignore. So I got there, and she cold-shouldered me. So I knew it was true. I didn't have to go back, and I would have to have courage to contact that space of knowing in my own way, and that it was in me. Everybody has it in you. And so, on that note, please remember to seal off. Actually, I'm going to do it now. I want to make sure you guys are back in your bodies and working on your own pathways within the oneness that we all are, the interconnectedness that's always there. So let's close our eyes again, be still, let the thoughts and the feelings all pass by. Come back to yourself, and we're going to seal each center, starting from the top of your head, with a small eternal star in the shape of 4 directions with a circle of light. Do this on your crown, your brow, your throat, your heart, solar plexus, sacral, base center. Now from the top of your head, take a line of light all the way down to your feet and back up again. At the heart center, go horizontal, making the sign of the cross with a circle of light around your whole body. With gratitude, may peace be with us all. And I'll see you next week. Be well. Thank you, Doreen. And have a good week. That's all I can say. Night to everybody. Lots of love. And here we go.